Hi, and in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to install and upload and use a custom font to later be used inside your Wix website. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go to the Chrome Web Store and look for an extension that will help us get some measurements. So the extension we're looking for is called Page Ruler. So just type in Page Ruler and scroll down here to the extensions area, and you'll see it's the first one here, and you can go ahead and then click on install, and it'll install this icon of these two rulers up here to the right of your address bar. Okay, so once you have it installed, you're going to go to your website, and now you need to figure out what area you want to place your custom font. So let's say I want to get rid of this area here that says student work, and I want to replace it with a little bit more of a custom font. So I'm going to come up here and click on my page ruler, and I'm going to left click and drag out a box that encloses right around the area. Okay, so this is the area that I want to work with, and you'll see up here on the top left corner it tells me that this area is 405 pixels wide by 64 pixels high. So I can play around with that a little bit. I probably could go ahead and make it 400 pixels wide by 64 pixels high, and that would be fine. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to take those two numbers, and I can go ahead and close this down now. And now that I know those numbers, now I need to go find my custom font. So there's lots of different websites out there that have free custom fonts that you can download. But one that I recommend that I have a lot of experience with is one called Dafont.com. So you'll see a whole bunch of fonts here, but up at the top you'll see a whole bunch of different categories here. So for instance, maybe I want to go here to the handwritten category, and I'll find a whole bunch here, and there you go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try to find one here, and I'll probably just go ahead and decide on one. So let's say I'm going to use this hello goodbye one here. So before you click on download, go ahead and click on the name of the font and check the font out and see if it has everything that you need. You'll notice that this particular font doesn't have any lowercase letters. So just know that you're not going to get any lowercase letters if you use this font. Okay? If you don't like that, then go ahead and find a different font. To test out the font, you can have right up here where it says custom preview, you can type in what you want. So I'm going to type in student gallery and click on submit, and now I can actually see what this is going to look like before I actually download it. And I can change the size, and I can say view it in large, so I can really get a good look of it. Okay, so let's say I'm pretty happy with that, and I don't care that this one doesn't have a lowercase font. So I'm going to go ahead and click on download. Once it downloads, I'm going to go to my download folder here, and when I go to my download folder, you'll see that it came down as a zip file. So what you do is you double click it, and that will unzip it, and here is the folder. And before you go ahead and start working in, say, Photoshop, I'm going to go ahead and quit out of Photoshop. So now what I need to do is I need to go ahead and install the font. So you may look and you'll see a whole bunch of different files. I have three here. This one here that says OTF is the actual font file. You might find another one that says TTF, and that one is also a good one as well. So I'm going to go ahead and double click this, and it's going to show me the entire font, and I'm going to click on install font, and there it is. Once it shows it to me, that's been installed. Okay, so now I can go ahead and work in Photoshop. So I'm going to go ahead and load up Photoshop, and using the dimensions that I got with the page ruler program, I'm going to do file new, and I'm going to go ahead and type in 400 wide by 64 high, and I'm going to change the background contents from white to transparent, so I have an invisible background, and I'll click on OK. Now it comes in a little small, so on the keyboard I'm going to press Command 0. So when I press Command 0, it zooms to fit, and now I've got this whole area here that I can go ahead and work with. So over here in Photoshop, I'm going to click on the text tool, which is the big letter T over here. And up here in the top left corner is where I can go ahead and choose my fonts. And so now I can go ahead and find my font. And unfortunately, I've forgotten the name of the font. Okay, so it's called Hello Goodbye. So I'm going to click up here and try to find Hello Goodbye, and hopefully it installed. Okay, and there it is. So there's Hello Goodbye. You'll hopefully remember that I had Photoshop closed when I installed the font. You have to have the program that you want to use, in this case Photoshop, you have to have it closed before you install the font. That way when Photoshop opens, it will then search for new fonts. Okay, so I have the font. I'm going to go ahead and choose a color that I want. I'm going to go ahead and stick with good old basic black and click here, and I see a big, huge blinking cursor. So the size is way too big. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it down. I have it set to 300. I don't know why. And I'm going to set it here to maybe size 48. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type in Student Gallery. And of course it's all coming out in caps. Notice that it's coming out off screen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and click on the Move tool, and with the Move tool selected I can now click and drag and kind of place my font where I want it to go. You'll notice it might look a little grainy and a little pixelated and lower quality. If I hold down the Command key and I press the minus symbol and I zoom back to 100%, you'll see that it looks okay. It looks fine. If I want to change the color of this, or I make a typo, something like that, I just go back to the text tool, come right over here to the beginning of the text box, and I can go ahead and select all the text, and I can choose a different color. Oops, sorry. You choose the color up at the top here, and I could choose a bright red, and you'll see that the color has been chosen. Alright, I'm going to stick with black. Of course, if you made a spelling error, you could go ahead and click inside here and you could change. Whoops. Okay, so I'm fairly happy with what I've got now. It is on a layer, so you could do some other things here. For instance, you could add a new layer. Click and drag and put the layer underneath your text layer, and underneath your text layer you could then go ahead and do anything else you wanted. So if I wanted to put a blue, a very light blue, let's say I wanted to put just a brush stroke, just something to make it stand out a little bit more, I could go ahead and just draw and put something underneath here, and I could do that if I wanted to. I don't want to, so I'm pretty happy here. Okay, so now I'm ready to take it to Wix. So I'm going to do File, and I'm going to do Save As. I'm going to give it a name, so I'll go ahead and call this Student Gallery Title. And I'm going to change the format. I'm going to change it from Photoshop format to PNG format, PNG. And the PNG format, just so you know, is going to allow me to keep a transparent background, and that's really important. So I'm going to save it to my desktop, hit save, and hit OK. Alright, once I'm done with that, I'll go back to Chrome. I'll go back to Wix now, and I'm going to go ahead and, let's say I'm going to go ahead and delete this title, and I'm going to go to Add. Now it's an image, and a lot of beginners that do this technique think that it's text, so they think that they need to add in text, but remember that it's coming in as an image, and that's how we get this loophole. That's how we get to go ahead and add in this custom font. So I'm going to say image. Now here's the most important part in this entire process. You have to choose image without frame. If you don't, the background won't come in transparent. It'll come in as pure white. Now pure white would actually work out okay on my example here, but if you have a different colored background or pattern background or photograph background, it will not work. So I'm going to choose image without frame. It's going to then go ahead and show me all my images that I have here, and I'm going to choose upload image. I'm going to go to my desktop and find my image, and here it is here. Say open. I'm going to let it open up and choose it and click on add images, and there it is. You'll notice that it pops in, and notice that the transparent background is working just fine because you can see it on top of my photo gallery, and I can just go ahead and drag it in, and using Wix's snap feature, there we go. So if I go into preview mode, there it is. It's right there. Now if I'm not happy with the size of it, I can of course click on it, and I can drag it out and change the size a little bit. When you change the size, look at the overall quality of the image, and if you drag it out and you don't like the quality, if you think it's lacking in quality and it's getting grainy and pixelated, then come talk to me in class and I can go ahead and help you. There's a single setting that we would need to change to go ahead and take care of it, but for most people this is going to work just fine. Okay, I hope everything works out for you, and I will see you in the next video.